Hello everyone. Welcome to yet another GeekyAnts Meetup Saturday. I do see a lot of familiar faces here for the meetup. So hello again. I hope you keep coming to these meetups every month. Also, thank you for turning up on a long weekend. In advance, happy Holi. So today in this meetup, we are covering modern web and generative AI development meetup. You might ask, who am I? If you do not know, I am Sanna. I'm a community executive here at GeekyAnts and also the host for today. These are my social handles. I go by Sanna Bara on Twitter and just Sanna Bara on LinkedIn. So you can follow me for some good quality meetup updates over there. If this is the first time you're attending or visiting GeekyAnts, let me tell you who we are. We are a design and engineering studio that use user first and with AI approach. We are a community-driven first company, and we focus on tech stacks such as React, React Native, and Flutter. Along the way, all these years that we have come by, we have built some amazing products. You might have heard about native base. You might have used native base in your projects. If not, don't use it now. We call ourselves mad scientists behind it. And we have also built another open source project called GlueStack. It's the successor of native base. So we would suggest, if you have been using native base in your projects, we would recommend you try GlueStack instead of that. It's a universal UI library tool, and we have used it in a couple of our client projects as well, and we have seen quite good results. So do check it out. Additionally, we are also an active part of all the tech and business communities. We host a lot of meetups, such as this one. And our leaders also speak at various global platforms like React Day Berlin, React Summit. And also last year, we hosted our very first international meetup in Berlin. And you can find more stories on GeekyAnts Twitter handle. But that's not all we are going to do this year. We are organizing our very first conference in Berlin called the GeekConf. The CFPs are open until 25th of April, and the theme is modern front end and React Native. So please fill it up if you're really interested to roam around Berlin. To sign up and fill the CFP. And you can find more details on the website. It's thegeekconf.com. Let's move on to the code of conduct for today. Do not use any hate speech and inappropriate comments. Keep it light and breezy. Be respectful and refrain from using strong words. This is a space for growth and learning, so please promote that. Get to know your fellow attendees and speakers, and obviously network. Keep your questions for the panel discussion. However, this time we do not have any kind of panel discussion. You can take some time to ask those questions during the break time or right after that talk. We would give like 5 minutes for that. And also maintain silence while a speaker is giving their talk. Let me move on to the most important things you might be wondering. Yes, we do have a Wi-Fi, so you can scan the QR code and log and connect to the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi name is GeekyAnts Guest. Password is GeekyAnts capital G capital A at Guest capital G 2023. I'll wait for some time for you guys to connect. If you have just entered, or if I skip this slide and you still want to know, you can reach out to us. We are seated right there. I'll count till 3. 1, 2, 3. Is everybody done? Okay, so let's get started. To start the whole event, I would like to call upon the keynote speaker for the event, Pranav Pandey. He's the ADOE here at GeekyAnts. So let's welcome Pranav.
Hello, audible, everything good? Hi. Hi. Why is everybody so dead? Come on. I know it's the afternoon, but it's okay. Okay, fine. I'm not an ADO yet, as Sana said. I'm an engineering manager here. I've been here for the past 7 to 8 years. I've mostly dabbled in front end, but not only related to web. It's been web. It's been mobile development as well. Dabbled a bit with Express, a little on the back end, GraphQL layers, the whole shebang basically. Um, so yeah, I think in this experience that we have had as an organization, I think one of the main things is that uh, we have worked across technology. So what was useful in 2016 might not even be popular today, or might not even be the go-to technology today, because this thing moves really fast. Like if we look at how we used to just build web apps, right, like a couple of years, or like 3 years ago, and how we make web apps today, there's a drastic difference if you look at the code. Maybe on the overall years, like I'm still using the same tech basically, but the tech itself has completely evolved. The patterns have completely evolved. The arguments that you used to have on Twitter have completely evolved into something else. So um, let's go into that. Okay. Um, okay. Let's see what's right now working for modern web. I think I think one of the things that's really standing out right now is the fact that we're not just related to a platform as of now. It's completely gone platform agnostic. Every tech that you see has some or the other support coming up for building some sort of universal applications. I know the word universal applications is used a lot, and actually if you implement it, you do realize we don't yet have a very universal solution, because at the end of the day you do have to separate it out for your web or for your native components when you actually start building out production grade applications, right? Um, but the idea is that if the underlying API has a good enough support, then it does give the developer a lot of leeway on to build whatever you want on top of it. um, I think one of the things that's popular with universal applications has been Expo. Expo has recently pushed a lot of this narrative about building universal applications. And actually, if you try out, so Expo recently had a release which was Expo 50. If you look at Expo 50, they actually have a very nice underlying layer. I mean, it's a new thing, so obviously you don't have a whole bunch of community stuff that's built on top of it, but the underlying API that they provide and the kind of support that they're providing is pretty solid to build off of. And then obviously there are like scope for improvement, but I think one of the major things that Expo picked up off was the Metro support. So Metro is I don't know how many of you have used React Native, but if you have used React or React Native, you must have encountered Metro. It's a bundler. Um, like Webpack for web, right? I mean, most of you must have used Webpack if you have dealt with front end technologies. So Metro basically had support for React Native, but they've extended it to build web projects as well. And Expo has leveraged that basically into their own build. So moving on from Expo 50, you can build actually universal applications. You can still use the whole dot web files and the dot native files, and to address some specific use cases that you might have. But on the overall, you do have the folder structure, which is very similar to how Next.js provides it, right? So there's also that if you want to really port your app into Next, so for example 2 months down the line it's not working out for you, go ahead and copy the whole folder back into Next. It follows the exact same folder structure. You won't find a lot of problems. Obviously you'll have to spend a couple of days on it to get it up and ready, but there's not a lot of friction at this point. Earlier there was, for sure. um, One of the other thing is micro frontends. Micro frontends have been popular for a while now. It feels repetitive saying it again and again, but I think with the latest Webpack release that happened around 3 years ago, they've really streamlined it. Module federation has also played a big part. And as and when we've moved to higher and more complex production grade applications that we're building with React and this framework that we use mostly, um, micro frontends do start to make sense, because simply because your app is just getting too huge to deal with. So I think, related to webpacks and micro frontends, there's also a trend of companies moving back to monorepos, which I've seen. They've started leveraging yarn workspaces and a bunch of things to basically use monorepos but handle them separately, which is sort of like what you do with micro frontends. But the micro-fronted architecture with Webpack is completely different than that. So you do have benefits and constraints with both the approaches. GraphQL has also seen a decent rise in the last 3 years. I think we've built a bunch of production grade GraphQL applications here at GeekyAnts, and it's working really fine for us. And I think that's what has pushed us also to basically maintain a low state. Like when I say a low state, I mean to say when we started off, probably I'm talking about 2017, 18, and that time I think Redux was very popular as a storage, as a state storage mechanism, and people used to just abuse it and have like a really bloated state. I think having just the fields that you need with GraphQL has also prompted us to have a very lightweight state. That has also coincided with the rise of state management solutions like Zustland that we have right now. Uh, it's a hook based, very lightweight state mechanism, and a bunch of like the successors of Redux as well, like the Toolkit and Mobux. So that's also something that has, I think we are moving in that direction, that if your API call needs to populate a certain component, let that data just be ingested to that component. Just don't, abuse your whole state for that. Um, just a few things. The server components and route handlers, I missed the top one. Obviously, with Next.js and Next.js acquisition of Turbo and a bunch of things that have happened there, server has been bought to the front end devs. So go ahead, as soon as you open your application, if you have your server files, you can go ahead and reduce the gap, reduce the friction that you have. It's no longer that I'm just waiting for my backend developer. Don't do that. You can go ahead and build the whole thing inside of your next app, for example, right? You can now build route. You can now have route handlers. You can now have route middlewares as well before you change route. So there's been really a lot of support. I think there's yet to be huge community support for it, but that's only because these things are relatively new. Give it a year or so, and I think we'll have like a whole ecosystem around that. um Okay, let's move from modern web. And okay, AI has been like the buzzword recently, right? Everything's AI, but what exactly are we doing with it, right? um, One of the first things that we do is that we leverage Gen AI a lot in supercharging our applications. So be it like chatbots, be it like assisted help markups that pop up on websites, basically. So we can really use it to supercharge our app, so that uh, we don't miss out basically on technologies that other applications will obviously take notice, right? Prompt engineering is another new thing that has come up recently with ChatGPT as well. It's pretty useful in making sure that your chatbots or the things that you integrate into your applications, they do provide contextual meaning to the queries, and just not static responses. AI assisted voice support has also gained a lot of traction. This has mainly worked in the customer industry mostly, but it has expanded to other areas as well. I think we have got a couple of experiments also running in GeekyAnts. Vasuki, I think one of our leads, is taking care of that, and that's also, if you follow our social handles, you'll get to know. um, we've also dealt with some real world examples with our in-house GPU. We've got a in-house GPU. We can run large language models on it, and we have tried out a bunch of things, so that how we get to know actually how it's working under the hood. That's really helped us a lot as well. Again, if you follow the social handles, you'll get to know about that as well. um, Okay, regarding how we have actually used it, you can go ahead to blog.GeekyAnts. You'll find a couple of blogs and more content that's coming up around it. Basically, the idea is that when the clients or anybody who wants to make an app, they try to contact us and we have a discussion around them. Generative AI does pop up 100%. So I think regarding business modernization, it's obviously one of the go-to features as of now. Nobody's building an app uh, that does not leverage it in one way or the other. So go ahead, have a look at that. We also have a guide on how to build AI chatbots, integrate them into your website, get them up and running. So go ahead and have a look at that as well. Okay, enough me talking. I think we've got some speakers here today. Vedant is here to talk about AI generating components for us. He's the co-founder at CodeParrot. We've got Veena, who's a tech consultant. She'll talk about safeguarding web development. Um, we've got a couple of in-house speakers as well. We've got Dinesh, who will explore the intersection of web and Gen AI, and Saurav is going to raise some questions about traditional search, let's say. So, yeah, give it up for our speakers and let's get started.
A huge round of applause for Pranav. Thank you for telling us so many things about modern web and AI. It's time to bring forward the first speaker for the day, Vedant Agarwala. He's a co-founder at CodeParrot.AI. He has been doing all things engineering, back-end, front-end, engineering management for over 8 years now. And with all that experience and exploration, he now runs his own startup. And today he's going to tell us how to make AI generate components for you. So let's hear more from him. You can clap.
Thank you, Sanna. Hey. Hey everyone, how's it going? Good. No, hey. Okay, yeah. So as Sana mentioned, right, I'm going to talk about make AI write components for you. And yeah, bit about me. I've been writing software, working as an engineering manager, basically managing developers for like past 10 years. I've been mostly working with startups, like either I've started my own startup or been working with early stage companies. So I was like employee number one at an academy. In my previous role, I was employee number seven at Apna Jobs. I'm sure a lot of you would have heard of Unacademy. Have you heard of Apna? How many people? So yeah, I was like, that was my previous role. I joined as employee number seven, and then by the time I left, it was like 700 employees. So yeah, like that's I think my sweet spot, and I like to work with early stage startups. And yeah, that's what led me to start CodeParrot almost a year, a little more than a year back. We got funded by Y Combinator, and yeah, we were both of us, co-founders wanted to build something for developers, right? We were both really fascinated by technology, and we want to build developers ourselves and yeah, make help developers ship faster. So that's what led us to CodeParrot. And rather than just talking about it, I want to show it to you. So, 1 second. No, I have to. I was wondering where did the browser go? Okay. So, uh, how many like before that? Like how many front end engineers, back end? Like how is it? Okay, first raise your hands if it's you work primarily on front end. Okay, nice. Rest is back end. Back end. Okay. Anything else like DevOps? You can shout it out if I missed anything. Okay, I'm going to take that as primarily backend and front end. Yeah, mostly front end folks here, so that's great. And then how many of you like often convert Figma designs to code? Nice. Some fewer hands, but cool. Okay, so this is an open source design library. Uh, like just picked an example, right? Let's say that we want to make this component. Okay, so I am going to zoom in this one. So here you select the file. Like I'd already added the file here. Basically copied this URL and put it over here. Oh, nice. The internet is also working. Let's zoom in a bit and let's make a smaller component. So yeah, like this is like a normal text edit, like VS Code, and we have created a CodeParrot extension. And as you can see, we have loaded the Figma file, and here you can see like the prompt has opened up. It is very similar to ChatGPT if you have used, along with this additional image, and like you can select the code settings that you want. One more thing I wanted to do. So as you can see, like this is an empty page, right? But we have an avatar component. So we want this to be reused. Avatar component is like nothing but this small one. It has like a border and stuff. So, we don't want to write it again. We want to reuse that. And yeah, like I'm going to start coding, and then I would love for you to like join in, and like this is just the, and we can hopefully work on it together, and fingers crossed we actually get like some good code that actually works. So yeah, so now since I wanted to use the avatar component, I'm just going to import it here. uh, yeah, great. Yeah, now this is enough, right? This is enough to tell CodeParrot that okay, it should reuse this one, and we can go ahead and generate code. Takes a while. Can everyone see? Is it font is big enough? It's fine. No, is it fine now? If I make it too big, and actually you can move in front if it's going to be easier. If I make it too big, it will not fit, things will not fit. Is it now? It's fine. Okay, let's close this. Okay, maybe you can zoom in more for now. We'll see. Interesting. Okay, it's generating more code, but let's start with this. Okay, let's zoom out. Just the file, like it was almost empty. Only this part was there. So like, yeah. Oh, you wanna? Okay, this I cannot zoom in here. So I provided it. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, I think it has built a bigger one, but like first let's see how this is going. It has not reused the avatar component, but yeah, let's see how it is. And it has. Oh great, I have to. Okay, we'll come to that. So this is a empty Next.js project. I mean, primarily empty, like it just has UI stuff. Let's open the link. That's an older one. Oops. Yeah, okay, clearly it's has not worked. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's remove all of this. Let's start again. Actually, it took a much bigger component. Let's go to a smaller one. Yeah, okay, let's try it. Now let's hope the small one is enough for GPT to work. Why is it making the avatar component? For some reason, it's asking to make the avatar component again, which I'm going to skip. Yes, it has created quite a few components. Mm, let's copy this as well. I'm just going to copy paste and just get it to compile. Okay, first let's see. Okay, not bad, not bad. What do you think? How's this code? How long would have it taken you to write this part? Okay. There are obviously issues with that, right? It's not matching the design exactly. Okay. What do you want to fix first? So, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good question. So this, as you can see in CodeGen settings, like here, we have selected Tailwind. So that's how it knows Tailwind, React, and TypeScript. Any other questions? Any thoughts? Okay, cool. We can continue. Yeah. No, right now it's closed. We have not open sourced it yet. I haven't used it. Sorry. Okay. We can check it out. We can talk about it later. Yeah. I haven't used that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So, there are certain things like, that's actually a good question. We have that feature over here. You can mention that, okay, these are some additional rules that you can specify. So, like, you can say, tell it certain things. Obviously, yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. Things like that. And, like in the end, you have to try it out and see what works, what doesn't work. So, generally, the stuff that is out there on the internet, like really popular stuff, that works well. But if you like obviously give it very detailed stuff about your specific to your company, which it has basically the model has not been trained on. So this in the background it uses a GPT-4 vision. So like it's mainly leveraging those capabilities, right? That's a good question. I haven't tried that out. I think it depends. Like it'll use the basic stuff, right? I think it'll mention the ARIA labels and stuff like that if you mention it. But if you go too much into depth, you'll have to do that yourself. Like there'll be some up to a point it can do it. After that, the developer will have to write it. Yeah, so it's see like I'll let me come to that. Basically, like this is more like an assistant. Okay, so it helps you, like if you have used like Copilot and stuff like that, so it helps you write your code. So obviously you need to have that in mind. You cannot just assume that, okay, you tell it and it will give you a PR that you can merge, right? So that's why it's you work with it in VS Code and try to work. It's more like an assistant rather than like a, I don't know. Exactly. Cool. Okay, let's move forward. As you can see, like it has not, let's say the Firstly, it has not used the avatar component. Let me fix that. Great. So as you know, you can see that it created its own avatar component, right? We wanted that to be reused. So I asked it, and it's actually like, okay, yeah, GPT will say stuff like, yeah, first understood, we'll modify. It's it's obedient that way. Okay, so yeah, we have to edit the reminder list item. Cool. Let's copy this reminder list item and props. Why does it keep importing React? Cool. No, it's still giving some error, but okay. What is it saying? Ejects a component as per component expectations. I think it needs something state, size, and children. Okay, Vedo. I think we'll come back to that later. Yeah, but we don't have that much time. Yeah, I think we'll, have like a hackathon session after this. Okay. Yeah, at least it reused the component. It's giving some error. We'll work on that later. Also, this alignment is it's like what do you call that? This checkbox is not aligned properly. So maybe we can. Yeah, we're using GPT-4. Yeah. I'll come to that. Just give me some time. Let's complete this coding exercise, and then we'll open up for questions in the end. How are we, Sana? How are we doing on time? Sorry, I did not check. Oh, yeah. So let's see. It has now it has given us something that it should, based on the screenshot, it should match this one. Let's see. Okay, again, we just have to update the reminder list item. Huh. Okay. I guess some ways it is better. It added a component, but still, let's try once more. As you can see, like I think this is the majority of it, right? Like you give it prompts, it'll keep getting better and better, and it's uh, and every time I do this demonstration, it always generates something new, right? So it's like everything something new that happens. So that's always there. And in any case, you can understand that like the point I'm trying to convey is that you know you should try and understand the prompts that it needs, and like in this case it's somewhat better, but it's not matching again. So we're going to try again. Let's see. No, no, it generates, it just works on the corresponding part. So as you can see, like we have reminder list item, we have reminder list, and then we have page. So it generated the all the four things or three things in the beginning, and now it's just editing this one thing. Yeah, yeah. Oh, nice. Okay. Mm, yeah. No, no. I mean, I mean, like a what do you call PR pull request assistant, something like that. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. You can definitely do that. I'm just copy pasting and I'm giving it prompts. I've not so far. I've not I've not updated the code. Like I'm just giving it prompts in English, like no code. I mean, just to work with the current build system, we did think about it, but it's like little the build is different, bigger issue. Oh, nice. It's actually better and better. Okay, I'm going to stop here. This is and just to recap, uh, we started with a design. It was like basically all these checkboxes were not there. We gave it some prompts and it gave us some things back, and then pretty quickly within 15 minutes we got this thing. Obviously, there are some other issues like the button color is not matching and stuff like that. And then you can give it prompts, and at some point you'll find that okay, it's not understanding, and then you have to edit the code yourself. So yeah, this was the live demonstration. Any thoughts, anything people want me to try? Otherwise I can just wrap up. Okay, so let me get to that. I'll actually, I have that in my slide. Is there, if there's no other question, I'll move on to that one. Like anything related to the demonstration? Yeah.
I would also have same question. How
Okay.
it is different from
Got
ChatGPT
it.
4?
Got it. Okay. So let me, you know, so I want to think about it like more like this, like we earlier we had, let's say, like very basic Vim editor tool. Okay, first let me answer that question and then I'll come to the slide. So we are using GPT-4 in our in the background. So we are sending it a lot of additional stuff. Like we are sending it the Figma properties, we are sending it the Figma image, and that basically helps it to give you much more accurate results. And then we are also doing prompt engineering, like he had mentioned earlier in the previous talk. So like those kind of things go into play, and we are building just for like not even a general copilot. We are building just for front end engineering. So those kind of optimizations like really help, and it will save more of your time rather than using like a general model. So both prompts go together. So we have our own system prompts, and then we pass that. And if the developer has some additional stuff, both of them go to the.
No, so the developer's prompt may not be prompt engineered or optimized. So if
Correct.
you
Yeah.
said you are applying prompt engineering, that
Yeah.
means like are you doing some kind of optimization on the prompt sent by the developer?
So there are techniques actually. Uh, there are techniques to do that. So, you like, for example, you give it between like triple quotes and stuff that, okay, the user's input is going to come here and use that. So that is what is prompt engineering. And then you use a lot of additional stuff. Like it's written in natural language, but it's more coding than using natural language.
Okay.
I can show it to you offline. I can show what other stuff we have done.
Yes, yes. And this Figmas that you supplied, aren't they normally given to GPT-4 for
No.
no? So that is one advantage. Like you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
give, this is particular to Parrot, that you can give Figmas
Exactly.
and then get code out of that.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
I think as the most visible advantage.
Yeah. That's definitely the most important one. Yeah. So, folks, I think, sorry, please, I'll just wrap up, then you can continue your discussions. Oh, sorry, yeah, you had a question? Oh, they do? Okay.
Just wondering, I mean, how does that makes a difference to this?
I mean, it depends on how they're using it, right? It may be similar, it may be different. I'll use it and check it out. Like we it may be similar also, but we also use like the Figma properties. That's why it, gets the color and those kind of stuff as well. Like you get the font family and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the backend, are you using any wrapper like LangChain or Llama Index, which is optimizing your code?
No, not yet. We did explore some of that, but yeah, we are mainly, calling like the OpenAI APIs directly. It is using the OpenAI SDK. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, to call the APIs, like, create those threads and pass the image and stuff. Okay, one thing I want to just complete one. I have to complete my thought here. So, like a couple of years ago, or like decades ago, we started with like very simple text editors like Vim, right? And then you had some more advanced text editors like Sublime Text. And obviously then you have now debuggers and stuff with VS Code and WebStorm and all, right? And now with Gen AI coming around the corner, right? You have like this is like a new tool that is there. Obviously, it's not just CodeParrot. You have GitHub Copilot, you have ChatGPT, right? Those kind of tools that are there. So it's a new tool, and then it has somewhat of a learning curve. Like let's say first time if you used a debugger, right? You applied those breakpoints, and like the first time you used it, it had some learning curve, right? So I feel that this is another step in this development cycle, right? And then obviously more and more people are using the tools are getting better. Tool is far from perfect, right? Whether it's Copilot, Copilot, there are a lot of these other tools like cursor.sh and stuff, right? I think so. The main thing I want you folks to take away from this talk is that try and use these tools. Get used to it, and like it'll definitely help you with your productivity. Obviously, in some cases it won't, right? And then you can answer that question: will AI replace my job? That you'll see all those questions trending and stuff. So once you use it, you'll know whether your job is actually under threat or not. So yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So I noticed that you had a pro button in the
Mhm.
in your CodeParrot UI,
Right.
right?
Right.
What does that offer? If you can elaborate.
It has like we had custom components and stuff, so we are still working on that. It's not released, so you can use let's say you have your own design library.
Right.
So
Like
if you
for
want to reuse
example, if
that,
I'm using BlueStack, right? How would your CodeParrot, or I mean, this engine will work accordingly if I
so
want to have just BlueStack to
that's a
make
very
that?
good question, and that's for any mature project. Like those things are very important because every time you
Right.
can't just be using just Tailwind, right?
Right.
So as you can see, that was part of this demonstration. We imported this avatar component. So just the way we imported avatar, you can import like all your other stuff. So let's say you have your whatever blue, import button from Bluestone and stuff like that. So you can put all of that here, and then CodeParrot will use that.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks.
So just picking up from his question, we first need to manually import things which can be used by CodeParrot.
Yeah.
If you have not imported, CodeParrot will not use them. That's the thing.
Yeah, because it
Okay.
doesn't understand, right?
Right.
You will have like thousands, like hundreds of files that can potentially be
or
imported.
it will not even import on its own if required. And that's the thing.
It will not know what to import. Yeah, it'll not basically. Yeah.
Okay, now just coming back to the flow, can you please tell us, like, once we have this Figma, what goes into as input to the OpenAI API, and what the API returns, and then finally what goes to the model, the
Okay,
GPT-4?
those are very detailed questions. I have just like 2 minutes. I have to wrap up.
No, in brief, you can just say, like.
So we send the code. Okay, we send, like in this case, I'll just show you for this case, right?
No, starting from the Figma, like we send the
Yeah,
Figma.
yeah. I'm coming to that. So you send the Figma. In the first message, we send the Figma. We are editing this page, so we send page.tsx the file, and we send what was imported. So like these three things, and also the Figma
Send to the OpenAI API.
Yeah.
And what does the API return?
It returns this.
The code, entire code, actually. Okay, fine.
Okay, I think yeah, that's about it. I think any questions we'll take it up at the break or at the end. We have, I don't, do we have time, Sana? Or no? Yeah, we are up. Okay. One image did not load. And otherwise, for questions, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Twitter. It's Vedant's opinions on both. One image did not load. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vedant. Thank you for that live demonstration on how to create reusable components on demand. Let's give him a round of applause. All right. So let's call upon our next speaker, Veena PD. She is a tech consultant, mentor, and a freelancer. She has over 7 years of experience as a seasoned full stack developer. She is a technical coach dedicated to helping developers excel in their respective area of expertise. So you can catch her later during the break and ask away all your queries. She'll be talking about safeguarding web development. So you can give a round of applause for her.
You have to select the MacBook Pro, right? Yeah, you can see it. I think this is good, I guess. It's okay, no? That's fine. No, like you selected that one previously. Okay. No? But I'm not sure will that be accessible. Mm-hmm. Or we'll send the link for that once. We'll see. Same, right? Okay. No problem. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, can someone start? Okay. So you can yeah, yeah. But I think it will be accessible by only one by one maybe 13. No, 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 no. So there you're saying like the clarity will not be there. That's why. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ah, that's awesome. Then I can just clear that one. Hi. Mm-hmm. All good. All good. Okay. Hey everyone. Very good evening. Yep. So today I'll be talking about safeguarding the web development. Yes. So whenever I speak about security, I feel like I'm kind of aged or a kind of very senior person because we don't think about security of the application unless something went serious in the product or something gets break, literally. Okay. So as a developers, whenever we get to know about new technologies, we'll be very eager to use them. But also we have to consider their pros and cons, both of them, and we have to make sure how to use it properly. So in the same way, this generative AI as well. So hopefully you guys also will be using the ChatGPT in your day-to-day life. How many of you? Of course, everyone. So is there any AI tool that you guys use in your day-to-day development work apart from ChatGPT? Cool. Yep, that's awesome. So this generative AI, it's not just a technology agnostic persons are using. Also from other domain, also the people are using the same. Just recently, I met one of my lawyer friend. Actually, he is also using the AI tools. I was quite surprised. And of course, in other domains, like even it in the news might be like it's quite pretty becoming very much famous right now, and a lot of tools and applications are getting developed. So hence, we being developers, we have to know its security concerns. So before we move into more details of this presentation, I would like to present few of the statistics that says, so firstly, why do we need to care about security when it comes to AI? So this is a report from Cybersecurity Statistics from 2024, which was released recently. That is, um, there is a chance of 85% of cyber attacks that can happen using the generative AI, and 46% of the respondents says that so business operations can get affected. And also, of course, as we know, there are few security concerns from the applications, that is privacy concerns, phishing attacks, and all those things can happen. So this is a kind of a red flag for us, and also a green flag for us to learn about security starting today itself, if not started yet. Okay, so coming to this session, so today I'm going to discuss about understanding the risks involved in using the generative AI tools, and how to identify the vulnerabilities and mitigating those security threats, and few of the tools and resources that are there currently, so that you guys can refer for. Understanding the risk, firstly, we all know we use the AI for entertainment purpose, education purpose, and in other domains as well, correct? So in that, the one of the the common issue that we came across is about deep fake. When we say deep fake, we are creating something which is fake, which resembles exactly the real one. So we have to be very careful on the deep fake aspects. And coming to the web development, or any kind of applications that we develop, so there are few potential vulnerabilities that comes into picture. So there are few loopholes, and that results in some of the major concerns. So one common issue is like insecure APIs. So most of the time, in terms of running behind the deadlines, we forget to incur the APIs to be secure. So we have to make sure APIs should be secure. Otherwise, we'll get into the issue of data breaches of the users, which might be kind of crucial, and insufficient input validation. So whenever we train the models, so we usually give some examples for those. What we do is sometimes we might insert some of the user data, personal data as well, while we train the models. At that time, what happens? So it can lead to some injection attacks or so. So we have to be very careful when we are giving the input validation properly. And there are few flaws in the there might be few flaws in the AI models themselves, because since it's a new to the market, so there is no much work has been done yet, so as compared to other technologies what we already are having. So hence, whenever you consider using any of the tools or something out there for your application in the background, in the backend, so make sure it is not having any kind of security threats. Just a simple example is, hope you guys are from JavaScript background out here, JavaScript or a Java background. So whenever you install a package, you make sure the number of downloads and when the package has been updated, all those things, right? So the same thing, we have to make sure the whatever AI models that you guys consider, so that should be kind of updated, and it's a risk-free. So how can we address these issues? The first one is secure data handling, as we spoke just previously. We have to make sure encrypting the data before we just send it to the backend model. So, and also we have to make sure authentication and authorization is being implemented properly, so that unauthorized users cannot access it. And one more thing is, once we set the application to production, most of the time we don't check who is like what kind of users are accessing. Sometimes the malicious user can also access the data, and that can be a problem for the product itself. So hence it's very necessary to add those kind of authentication and authorization, and keep checking for the sanity of the users that are using the product as well. So next comes the model validation and testing. So whenever we create a models, so first we have to check for sanity, and we have to detect if there is any kind of issues are there or not, and to best in order to debug. So we have a kind of tool called as OpenAI debugger, so which we use often whenever we create the LLMs, whenever we are trying to train the LLMs basically. And next comes the ethical use and transparency. So whenever we create an application, we have to upfront tell the users, so no kind of sensitive information should be there, and like in the privacy policies also, these all the things should be included. Yeah. So now we'll discuss about some of the tools and resources so that can help us in order to keep the application secure that we are developing. The first one is a TensorFlow privacy. So anyone worked on this or heard about this? Okay. So this is just a library that we are having. So whenever you train a models, right? So usually what happens, it is just like you will give some set of information in order to train the model basically. So our end goal should be, we have to train the model in a general pattern instead of based on use cases. So in order to make that, so this tool will be very kind of helpful. Basically what it does is, if you know how the LLMs will be kind of trained, we'll take some set of data. So that will be some bunch of data. So that will be pushed into the system. Those models will be, it will be kind of called as generatives. We call it as generatives. So there, in this TensorFlow privacy tool, we can just add this one kind of optimizer function, that's all. So here you can see some 3 lines of code, right? So what it is doing, it is just normalizing the clip. It is adding some noise, and you are creating some micro batches. So these are kind of custom values that you can just add for this. By adding these, what happens? So this will allow the whole model to train in a general pattern instead of use cases. When I say use cases, like let's say it has to give some information of a user, of user A, B, and C. So instead of taking the direct values, so what this will do is, it will just, okay, the other best example would be, like let's say you are searching for a shoe. So it has to be trained for a shoe, okay? So you will give some inputs of a men's shoe, more of a, okay? But if you try to search for a women's shoe, that might not give a proper results. That might, since it will be a kind of trained very less compared to the men's shoes, correct? In those aspects, what we can do, if we use this kind of a tool, so it will help in our just shoe characteristics what are there, so it will just train it according to the characteristics instead of how it is looking exactly at that point of time. The same goes with a data. So I just give an example of a shoe which is kind of materialistic. So the data also, this will be kind of very helpful in that. use case instead of specific use case. Yes. Yes. Okay. So when you see here, this is a kind of a gradient descent Gaussian optimizer. It's just a piece of a code, optimizer code. So this can be added along with your LLM code that you already have written. So in this, this gradient will be calculated. Gradient is nothing but like in that module, how do you train with a sort of direction and where it needs to be placed, correct? In the same fashion, when you say a normal clip, so it will just take a portion of it. And when you say noise multiplier, it is just a Gaussian noise will be added to bring out the commonalities in that. And when we say micro batches, so it just converts a similar pieces into convert into similar slices, and those will be placed accordingly. And this can be changed according to our requirement. So how many batches that we need, and how much noise we can just add it according to our requirement. Moving to next, so here one more tool we have. This is private AI collaborative. So this is having multiple options actually. So as you can see in this example, we have a text, and when you just select it, it is giving some kind of information over here. So when we just insert this, it is not just giving directly the values itself, it is generalizing it with some kind of variables. Because every time we send some information to the tool, it is not a good thing to send the private information, especially. We have to, kind of encrypt them in some sort. So this tool can be helpful for that. And this is not just for a, this is just for a text demo. So we can have it for a file, and even we can just do it for the LLMs as well. We can use that for LLMs as well. You can just see this redact AI.
Hiding the name, age, but age surprising. She's not a woman, yeah. Okay, so age, credit card number, etc. But how does it identify what has to be hidden?
This will be taken care by the application in the backend. So this is just for the representation sake and just an example of that.
Okay, so is it like relying on an AI model?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a like whole separate new tool itself, just like we saw the CodeParrot, right? So like similar one. Yeah, so for the safety purpose, we have the OpenAI already, so you can refer for that page. And here I have just picked one of the example. So how to the best practices of deploying the language models. It's just like prohibiting the misuse and mitigating the unintentional harm, and thoughtful collaborative with stakeholders. Like most of the time what happens, like we developers, we don't interact properly with the business team. They keep saying like, yeah, these are the requirements that we want, just get it done however it is. But there will be some kind of issues in the tools that we might use, so we have to interact with them openly. So this is the kind of a thing that we are having, and that needs to be addressed well, because business going according to the business, creating something is good, but later repenting on that, it will be kind of very bad. And any kind of safety resources that you guys want, like you can just check this OpenAI safety page. Yeah, so the conclusion is just have this security measures before you start any new implementations, and just go with the best practices, and yeah, leverage the appropriate tools and resources. Thank you guys. Any questions? No? Okay, good. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Veena. Yes. Thank you, Veena. That was quite an impactful talk. Yes, we are heading towards the break. Just quick thing. We have a board over here. You can put down your thoughts. We have sticky notes over there and a few pens. If you have any kind of suggestion what kind of meetup you want to attend next, you can put it up over there. Like the previous talk we had, they wanted to do a hackathon. You can put that thought over there as well. All right, we can head over towards the break. 20 minutes of break time. We'll see you in 20 minutes. Thank you. Dinesh. You guys can still take chips and tea, coffee. All right. Welcome back again from the break. Like I said, you can still take all the stuff from there. Without any further wait or wasting time, let's move on to the next speaker. We have Dinesh Reddy. He's a software engineer here at GeekyAnts. He's passionate about all things tech and love diving into the world of web development and artificial intelligence. So sorry. That's okay. Currently, he is working on pushing the boundaries of digital innovation, and today he's taking us to explore the intersection of web development and generative AI. So give him a round of applause, please.
Thank you, Sanna. Hi guys. Actually, ये मेरा पहला टॉक है. बहुत नर्वस है. सब मेरे को ही देख रहे हैं ना? Okay. नहीं. अभी I would like to say 3 things before I start. जो भी मैं आपको बताने वाला है ना, ये सिर्फ 3 दिन का प्रिपरेशन है. Okay? मैंने ये टॉपिक इसलिए चूज किया क्योंकि मैं सीख सकता है इस पे. मुझे आता नहीं है ज़्यादा, बट मैंने 3 दिन पे क्या रिसर्च किया, I'll share with you guys. Okay? Intersection of web development and generative AI. Even I don't know before what is generative AI. How many of you guys know what is generative AI? Okay. Okay. Can you give me one example what technology generative AI is using? Like for example, like for example, ChatGPT use generative AI, right? So in the same way, what other tools use a generative AI? Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yes. Bart, obviously. Yes. Yes. So, have you guys heard about Devin? Obviously, right? When a funny incident, I'll share with you guys. When Devin was launched, okay? मुझे एक फोन आया था घर से. मेरा माँ ने मुझे कॉल किया, बेटा ये डेविन नाम से कुछ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर आया था ना, सब ठीक है ना वहाँ? माँ ठीक है माँ, वैसा कुछ रिप्लेस नहीं करेगा. हम जैसे इसको यूज करते हैं, वो रिप्लेस नहीं करते. नहीं नहीं, ये टीवी पे बता रहे सब सॉफ्टवेयर जॉब्स उड़ जाएगा इस वजह से. मैंने बोला नहीं माँ, चैट जीपीटी पे आया पहले, अभी उसको हम यूज कर रहे हैं, वो रिप्लेस नहीं किया. वैसे ही हम भी डेविन को यूज कर सकते हैं. सो जैसे एक काम को इजी करते हैं हम, हमारा काम. ओके. सो मैंने डेविन को देख के मुझे एक इंटरेस्ट आया था, कैसे काम कर रही है. वैसे तो बिल्ड हमारा जैसा सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर सीख किया. व्हाट इज द टेक स्टैक्स दे आर यूजिंग टू क्रिएट दिस थिंग. जनरेटिव एआई काम कैसे करेगा. सो मैंने रिसर्च किया 3 दिन के लिए, एंड द रिसर्च आल्सो हैव डन यूजिंग एआई. ओके. सो इन सिंपल टर्म्स, जो भी मैं आपको बताने वाले हैं ना, मैं सिंपल टर्म्स में बताते हैं, क्योंकि नॉन आईटी को भी ये समझ पे आना है. ओके. नो टेक्निकल, नो ऑल कोड स्टफ, simple English. Okay, even Sanna can also understand whatever I'm saying. So generative AI is like a smart tool that helps computers make new stuff such as picture, text, music, whatnot. Sounds like it was made by humans, which is very important point. That is the reason why I'm using ChatGPT. जो भी मैं use करते हैं ना, it sounds like I have written the code. Okay. So generative AI is nothing. It just creates images, videos, the same way as we do. You cannot differentiate it was either created by a human or artificial intelligence, right? That is the main goal of this generative AI. So how generative AI works, right? So this is the thing. I'll explain you this with a simple thing, 2 concepts, 2 things actually, generator and detective. Okay. So this generator, what does it do? Keeps on generating the images or text, whatever it got trained from. Okay. And this detector, ये क्या करता है? it identifies whether this is a human generated or AI generated, whether it is a real or fake. Okay, and this thing keeps on happening again and again. Generative keeps on generating new images, videos, or whatever you train for, and this detector keeps on detecting this fake. This is not looking like a human generation, it's look artificial. From that जो भी detector ये देता है, fake है, यहाँ पे थोड़ा fake लग रहा है, ऐसा कुछ देता है detector, and generator from those things it learns again and modifies it output again. Okay, so next time whenever it generates, it learns from the mistakes whatever detective has given, then it generates again, and this loop keeps on continuing until unless generator इसको accept करता है. Okay, ये लग रहा है human जैसा create है. Okay, exactly sir, exactly. And you know GPT का full form क्या है, पता है किसको? Generative pre-trained transformer, right? The transformer is the thing which is wrapped the generator and detector. So wrapping this generator and detector makes a transformer. So this is what ChatGPT is using behind this concept, this technique. Using this technique, ChatGPT is made. Okay. The next slide. So steps. So how do you train an AI? Okay. So we have to collect the data, train, find patterns, learn from mistakes, repetition and improvement, testing and validation. Okay. So for example, we have ChatGPT 3. So it's a pre-trained AI model, right? So we can use and integrate with our normal web. So the good thing is here, we can also train that ChatGPT 3 model as we require. Okay, so that is a great thing actually. So AI cannot replace here, right? Because many people have many ideas. So you can train accordingly what is your idea, how you want to integrate your web development with artificial intelligence. Okay, fine. So the thing is here, we can understand whether it's a cat or dog, whether it's in a English language or it's a Hindi language, everything, right? We can understand alphabets and everything. But how does a mission understands? If I show mission a cat image, how does a mission know it's a cat? Anybody? Because see, as we are human, we know it is a cat with sound, color. अगर मियाम किया है तो वो cat होता है. ऐसा कुछ हमने बचपन से पता है. We are trained from childhood. Cat क्या होता है? ऐसे ही dog क्या होता है? By identifying with its shape, action, sound, everything, and place where it lives. For example, if I take example of lion, it's an animal because it lives in a forest, right? So we are trained from childhood. But how a mission knows if it's a cat or dog, for example?
Identifies with a cat.
Exactly. So you train the AI by providing many cat images, right? But the thing is, if you provide image to the mission, how does it understands? Because it understands only zeros and ones. Sorry? Okay, the values, right? Exactly. So every image is made up of pixels. Each pixel has a color palette. Each color palette has a value. By the time it can convert into zeros and ones. So every image is transformed to 0 and 1 at the end of the result. Okay, so these images we pre-process and convert them into zeros and ones, and we give to the AI and say, if you see any pattern in this way, then it's a cat. If you see any pattern in this way, then it's a dog. Okay, so it identifies the pattern from the numbers what we provide. Cool. Done. So that's a great. Okay, that's a great question. So if you see this example, this is an image, and if you see image is a combination of pixels, each pixels has a value, right? So when you provide this image to the AI, by taking this value, it identifies a pattern. For example, if you see the black color, a cluster of pixels, it and the other cluster of pixels between those, it identifies a pattern, calculates slope. Could be mathematics algorithms which scientists have created using those mathematics algorithms and everything. A pattern is developed. So whenever next time when the image is provided, it tries to identify the pattern which we have provided in the image. Cool? Yes. And one more thing I would like to say here. Okay, image is okay, image is fine. But when you ask GPT or any AI, a cat is an animal or a thing, it says animal. If you ask ChatGPT anything, complete the sentence, it completes, right? With perfect, exactly like the human does. How do you think that is happening behind? How do you know ChatGPT, a cat is an animal, a table is a thing, a book is a something which we can read, right? So how do you know that? How do you think? Yes, yes. Yes.
Values are from the vectorized database, because essentially like every word will have various characteristics, and each of those characteristics are converted into a particular number in the list of numbers by which that word is identified. So matches which are closer to each other have the same semantics,
Yes.
yeah, in the vector space.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, exactly. But I'll tell you in simple way. Okay, I'll tell you in more easy way so that everybody can understand. Okay, fine. For example, I do have a sentence like a cat lives in a forest. Okay, so now I have to train a AI model in which it says when I provide something, it has to say whether it's an animal or not. Cool. So what I'll do now, I'll provide GPT with more data. I'll provide many other sentences. A cat lives in an animal, a dog lives in an animal, a tiger lives in an animal. So the next time whenever I give some other thing, for example, a bear lives in a forest, by seeing the word forest, like surrounding things, right? So whenever you provide the sentence, ChatGPT analyzes the surrounding sentence, and the data, whatever it got trained from the data, it identifies whether this is a cat, whether this is an animal or not. Okay. For example, if I ask ChatGPT, Housey lives in a forest. Now tell me what is Housey. It doesn't say it is an animal because it not got trained with the word Housey. Even I just randomly gave one word whether this is an animal or not. It doesn't say it is an animal. It says non-identified word which is not there in English grammar. Obviously, right? If there it is in English grammar, it would have been trained with that word particularly. So ChatGPT can only uh, give results with what it has been trained, right? Okay. So now the thing is intersection with modern web. So the AI is ready. We do have web developers, and how do we intersect the both things? That's the question, right? The simple way, we will be able to use the APIs, okay, and we'll be using the APIs and we'll be calling the AI. We'll be giving the input to the AI, and AI will be giving the output, okay. But the question is here: if you want to create your own website with personalized experience, user experience, you have to use AI, artificial intelligence, right? So for that, you have to take some pre-trained AI models. Otherwise, you can create your own AI model. By taking that pre-trained AI model, you can able to tune that AI model according to your requirement. Okay. For example, if your website requires any personalized clothes or something, you have to train the AI model. If this is the input, whatever user gives, this has to be the output by providing lot of data to the AI. Okay. So web AI, identify use cases, choose AI model, and API integration, as I have told. So these are the three things when you're trying to integrate modern web with artificial intelligence. Enhancing web development with generative AI. So what are the ideas in which we can able to create a web application in which we can able to integrate with the artificial intelligence? We do have a couple of ideas here. Dynamic content generation, okay, like already ChatGPT is there. We can use the same ChatGPT if you are building a website which generates dynamic content over the user requirement. Okay, by taking the user data, by having the user, previous history or everything, it can able to personalize your data and also provide you much more information and make your life easy. Realistic image generation. Okay, so realistic image generation in the sense, as I told you, generative AI generates images as it was created by humans. So if I have a generative AI which generates images which looks like human created images, then I can integrate with the my website, in which I can able to provide more images, more personalized images for the user, and also more personalized videos for the user according to the user needs, whatever he is watching or whatever he is interested in. According to that, I can able to create personalized images or personalized videos by pre-training the AI model. So this we can able to do. Okay, so how to integrate ChatGPT 3 model into your application, right? It's very simple actually. Providing data, identifying patterns, and make predictions. So if you want to use the same ChatGPT for your web application, you can directly use by creating API key. By it is premium, I guess, actually. If you want to use ChatGPT 3 or 4, so then if you want to use the same ChatGPT, you can directly use by creating APIs, as you all know. But if you want to train the ChatGPT in the way you want, first thing you have to know is that you have to need very high quality data. I'm saying quality data. Data is not just enough to train a AI. You need to have a quality data with the perfect input and also the output of that input. So in that way, you can able to make the AI more enhancing and also related to your website. Okay. So my idea, I do have couple of ideas how to use this artificial intelligence, how to train this artificial intelligence. Okay, so that I can able to integrate this with my website. So I do have this dynamic image generation. Okay, I'll just brief you about my idea, how I want to use this AI to integrate with my website, which I'm trying to build now. So the idea is, like, everybody here are using Amazon, right, for buying clothes. We use many other shopping websites for buying clothes, right? They are not perfectly customized according to your height, according to your hairstyle, according to your weight, or according to your some other aspect, according to your situation or according to your background. If you see all the images in Amazon, you will be having one plain background. You will be having a model. I don't know. He's always white in that photo. Everywhere you see, all models are fair in color, tall, and also well groomed and everything. But we don't look in that way in real, right? So how that clothes gonna match us, right? Exactly. So for exactly, it's a business they're doing, right? So for example, if you see oversized t-shirts, it looks good for bodybuilders, but not for person who are thin. And we get fooled by seeing those t-shirt. अरे बहुत अच्छा है भाई, अच्छा दिख रहा हूँ मैं. I'll buy the t-shirt and it is like very loose. You know, it is like not personalized according to your need, right? So I do have an idea to resolve this issue. So I'll train an AI model. I'll give AI my measurements. Okay, I'll provide my height. I'll provide my style, skin tone, and everything. So before this, I'll obviously train the AI by giving some data, like random data or quality data. I'll train the AI. Then next thing what I will do, by giving my measurements of my body and everything, AI generates a model of your body. It's a 3D model. It will generate based on your height, color, and everything, right? So whatever product you want to buy from different website, you can paste that link or the image of the particular T-shirt, or also the particular what do you say, color of the T-shirt and everything. I mean, I'll ask the AI to add this T-shirt to this model. Now we do have sizes in T-shirts also, right? So M size, L size, XL size. So we'll be able to know perfectly whether this size is matching to us or not, because we already provided the measurements of our body, right? So this is the thought. And also we can able to check the matching outfits. Like for example, for the white color shirt, what is the matching outfit for the white color shirt, the shoe, and everything we can able to add to the AI model which we have generated using our body measurements, right? So this is the thought which I am having. So for this, I started learning what is the AI and how it works, what tech stacks we have to learn to create this or to train the pre-trained AI models. Okay, so you can also have many other use cases of this AI. You can also create interactive chat boards to your website. For example, if you have a website and you want to have a chat bot, you can use the AI, pre-trained AI obviously, and you have to train according to the questions in which your customer gonna ask, and also you have to provide the expecting output also with the data. So you have to tune the AI in such a way it's going to help you with the with your website, with your customers, what are the queries they're going to ask. They help you with that if you train it the way that from all aspect to all types of questions, like some customers might be like randomly asking some different questions. You have to think in a way like AI should answer for everything and every way of asking the question. Okay, so in that way you can able to use the pre-trained AI models. These are my ideas which I want to work on and use in my website which I'm working on. These are some other websites. I've told you about this thing, a fashionable website that could generate personalized outfits, a customer service, chatbot, e-commerce website, everything. What tech stack should I learn to achieve this thing? Okay, because I am working on this concept, integrating this with the ChatGPT, right? So obviously I need to know web development. Okay, and I have to learn artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. Here is one interesting point actually. Anybody know any difference between machine learning and deep learning? The both seems very similar. Machine learning, deep learning. No, there is something difference between both of them. Yes, yes, yes. And machine learning also uses some other algorithms, but deep learning is thing which uses some complex algorithms which you can able to solve the problems very easily compared to machine learning, right? I'll tell you one simple in a simple way. Machine learning is something which learns from the examples. If you want to train a AI, whether it's a cat or dog, you'll show multiple examples. See, this is a cat, learn. This is a cat, learn. This is another pose of cat, learn. This is another color of cat, learn this also. Like we provide multiple examples of cat pictures, so machine learning could learn. The thing is here, what if you provide a dog image? Now machine thinks, ये मुझे बताया ना ये क्या है, अभी मैं क्या करूँ? So it doesn't have the power of thinking, which deep learning adds. So deep learning is built in. It can output even if it is not trained with that data. Okay, simple difference between machine learning and deep learning. So these are the tech stacks which we have to learn. Sorry for the color combination. I guess I'm very bad at choosing colors. Okay, so web development, you have amazing frameworks in Python, TensorFlow and PyTorch. Now what are these things? TensorFlow and PyTorch, anyone? These are machine learning famous. One is developed by Google, obviously, another is developed by a competitor, Facebook. Yes. If you see any package developed by Google, the same thing you will be seeing in the Facebook. Okay. Both are very much competitors. And also we do have deep learning packages. If you want to add, integrate, or learn deep learning, you can use these packages. Do you guys know what this package contains of? Like mathematics algorithms, which identifies patterns in the data which you have given, and according to that, it trains the AI model. The thing is, to train an AI model, the main important thing is to identify the patterns in the input which you have provided. And how do you identify patterns? There are some mathematical algorithms which scientists have created. Using the patterns, you will be able to identify what is image, what is dog, and everything, right? So this library contains the mathematical algorithms which you can use, functions which you can use. Okay, so whenever you provide something, you uses these functions. For example, if you provide an image, you use this function to generate the numeric zeros and ones out of this image. Then you clear the noise. Then you remove the fuzziness in the data whatever you have provided. Then after that, you will able to train the data to the AI, right? So these are the packages which is nothing but mathematical algorithms. You can learn those algorithms also how those work, but you can use also according to your need. Yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you. Any knowledge if you guys want to share on this thing, because this is the knowledge which I have learned from past 3 days, I guess. So if you guys know more than this, I like obviously this is 1% which I've learned from artificial intelligence, or less than 1%. If you guys have anything other knowledge, you can share with me. Rather than it's a talk, right? Obviously. So this is the knowledge which I have. If you guys also have anything, you can share with me.
Thing. So just to add to that, if like say I train a machine learning or an AI model with the entire buying pattern, that I have been following,
Yes.
right? It would have that history, which will help it predict what next I'm going to buy based on my current product that I have bought.
Yes.
For example, like it would know that if I bought gray formal trousers, then given my pairing of formal clothes, I would go for, like, say, preferably a blue shirt.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
or it would know that I prefer a striped shirt, so it would specifically look for a striped blue shirt and choose one of the brands that I regularly
Exactly.
buy from.
Yes. Yes.
So that kind of pattern matching is really helpful in predictive buying.
Yes, exactly. So personalized outfits according to your matching pant, your body, and your hairstyle and everything. Yes. Any other? With your history also. Yes.
Hi. Regarding that dynamic image generation, right?
Yes.
What you said, there are a lot of. If a typical example I can give you is a Mintra lens card, right, which
Yes.
take your photo, right, and can highly customize this based on your dimension of a face or a dimension of a body.
Okay.
So those models which you said, right, they are a lot of open source models on this, which
Okay.
takes a customized version. So probably for your website,
Okay.
right, you can take the help of
Okay,
that.
I can use those
That.
open
So
source.
so those problems is already being solved.
Oh, I thought this is the new idea which I got. Okay, then it's already someone has taken the patent, I guess, on this AI model. So I'll try to use those AI models to integrate with my website with beautiful interaction, and use the CSS where I can attract users rather than going to Mintra. Okay,
And
thank
I
you.
just wondered when you said in the beginning, right, that this is your first presentation.
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes, yes. This is my first
But it doesn't
presentation.
sound like. I'm sure a lot of folks will agree that the way you presented is actually very good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dinesh.
Yes.
Thank you for that captivating session. We can give him another round of applause. All right, let's quickly move on to the last speaker for the day. We have Saurav Ganguly, not the cricketer. He's a software engineer here at GeekyAnts. He likes to solve problems with tech. He has his curiosity set on designing products and keeps his excitement on how to make it better. So for today, he's taking us on a journey beyond traditional search. So join me in welcoming Saurav.
Hello, it's working, right? Oh, wow, it's good. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, just 1 second. Yeah, 23rd of March 2024. We are in the third month of this new year. Yeah. So it's always good to start a presentation with a question, right? An engaging question. How many of you had a New Year resolution? And also, did we work on it? No. Anyway, for the camera, oh wow, everyone. Okay. This is my roommate, flatmate, and I. We like a nice good story. We also had a New Year's resolution, and so the previous DMart orders were mostly unhealthy snacks, cold drinks, But in the new year, we decided we'll order something healthy, something which is also good in the budget. But soon later, we found ourselves struggling in a physical market, physical superstore, comparing similar products, similar grocery products, for and reading the wrappers for ingredients and prices. But why so? Why going to a convenience store is more convenient than searching it online? Why a search box is not the good window or a decent window to explore all the inventory they already have? Oh, I forgot to skip the slides, but hi. My name is Saurav Ganguly. I am a React Native developer and hopefully someday a cricketer as well. And if you like my talk today, hopefully I give you a reason to follow me. You can follow me on I Saurav Ganguly. I write on most of the platforms as I Saurav Ganguly. On Twitter, I go by I am Saurav Ganguly. Let's give you a reason to stay in contact. How does search work? Anyone? Okay, so when you write a query on your search box, there are typically 5 steps involved into it, and I'll give a quick description of the 5 steps, and these are actually important throughout the presentation. I'll take all of them. So there's tokenization. Whatever user query that we write, it is broken down into words. Now, approximately, let's take one word as a token. Now, there's stemming, where words like running will turn into run, words like jump turns into jump. And we also remove the stop word removals, and then indexing. So a search engine usually has a crawler, right? This crawler will go to every web page or product. It will try to find out what the product is good at. How does it do that? It will search most prominent words included in the description of the product or web page, and then list them down into a table. Whenever a search query is made, it will try to link all the indexes that it has found out, and it would be showing it using ranking, right? Beautiful, right? It's beautiful. And this has been perfect for a long time, actually. But here are some issues. I'm here to discuss a few issues around this. And I'm specifically talking about why keyword searching is not such a great idea unless you search with context. And to do this, I'll take help of a word called sugar. And why do I take help of a word sugar? Because it's easier to identify when you see sugar. There's a term. You know it when you see one, right? And there's also market. It's common. It's a common marketing term. For example, sugar free or diabetic, and also a pinch of sugar makes everything better. I just added it. So for example, this is the first example that I'll show up. I have searched for sugar less biscuits. Now the search query should not have been broken right here. So it basically either search for sugar and biscuits, but you see the first product that came up. No hates against it, but it's probably not sugar free. So maybe I am wrong. Maybe I don't use phones. Maybe I should know what's the most marketing term. It's sugar free, and I did so. And what the results we have is sugar free because it's in the name of the company. The second one has sugar free in the heading, and the third one is the same biscuit again because possibly they are too good with the category marketing of biscuits. And I'll show one more example where a product is good at category marketing of snacks. And when I search for snacks, we have chips, potato chips and banana chips, which is good. And this is a normal common delivery application, 10-minute delivery application, and it actually is very good at context search, but I'll show you an issue. So when you search for midnight snacks, we have two products, and maybe people are eating potato chips at night. I eat potato chips at night, it's fine. But it's also the recommendation for morning snacks, where the recommendation could have been cornflakes, oats, fruits, banana, apple. It's also a recommendation for sugary snacks. It should not have been a recommendation for workout snacks, I mean. And this is a simple example, and it's funny, supposed to be funny. But what about people? So this was sugar, so you could identify it's a product which has sugar. What about people who are allergic to something, or something they are not recommended to eat? For example, gluten or any other substances as such. So we know, sir, the current search engines rely on keyword searching, which is not very relevant. So we as developers somehow believe that the people should that people or our users should know how to phrase a sentence and put it into the search box, or either do we believe that people should be knowing the most common marketing term? And to make things better, we have also created sorting algorithms and filter algorithms which had 30 more categories to select from, and then we also show 40,000 results proudly. Maybe sometimes, not always. Maybe sometimes, but these are probably results directly pulled from the database, the number of things that come under the top brand and all of that. I guess, but yes, please. Which one? Google has a context searching. This is, I don't want to say the name of the app, but this is a mobile app and a fashion trending fashion application. So it has size, color, brand, bundle, price. And I don't have anything for the application. It's just that we are not using probably the right method to do it. So while searching for the problem, there are many articles that I come across, and there are many problems that I came across. For example, people might have heard it wrong, and when they write it on the search box, they cannot search the product they want. Maybe they have heard it wrong. Maybe they are writing it right just because of the spellings are different. Maybe they are searching for the same product, but because of the country or where they are from, it's just called differently. And even if products are called similar, the marketing terms are different. Multifunctional, or all-in-one printers, so and so. So when the user searches for a different term, they are obviously not seeing products which have a SEO of some other term, and they obviously do not see all the products that my inventory or my organization's inventory probably has. So the solution, obviously, natural language processing. We are in an AI meetup, obviously. Natural language processing is the solution. So, okay. Now, just because we don't see a solutions around doesn't mean people have not created it, right? So I went forward to see what are the solutions. So this is mostly how people search for it. There is a service sitting between the client app and the content layer. And this could be any content, the PDFs as well. And this Azure AI search is actually a product. There's also, this was formerly known as Azure Cognitive Search. And how it works is it understands the user's query and find it from maybe an organized set of contents, maybe an unorganized set of contents. I'll show you why this process, when you use GPT or some other tool in between your backend and front end, is not a good idea. But yeah, there are also commercially available tools. I have been exploring Algolia and Azure AI Search. I think these are really good. The others are also AI search algorithms, commercially available with natural language processing and all of that included in it, but they are not very specific for FMCG market. For example, the Salesforce Einstein search is very good at helping their users search from the data using a simple query. Also, there are open source service, search as a service. So when I started, I thought it's a very good business. I'll also create search as a service. But there are open source models which also provide search as a service. There's Elasticsearch, which is famously known, and then Millisearch. So these not specifically would have natural language processing, but it gives a lot of power to already creating a base of search algorithms on which you can create other open source models for natural language and all of that. Additional features they provide apart from natural language processing, I think, sir, you were speaking about personalizing search results, right? So models like this apart from natural language processing, also personalizes the search results, where it will read the user's history and post behavior and then show the details. And it also has multilingual search at the end. So this exact reason is how problems like these will be solved for multilingual. So you don't have to create SEO. So if you have a product that you have to list on an e-commerce website, you don't specifically write all the possible words and all of synonyms that you have to write in your product description. This will find your product basically for the right user. Okay. So as I said, yeah, I thought this is a great product. This is a great business idea, right? So I wanted to create something similar. I wanted to integrate something like this. But spoiler, I was not successful. So I downloaded different smaller scale models into my local systems to using models that could be run in the cloud. It's a lot. It takes a lot. At the end, you have to create a whole new layer that's integrated to the pre-existing layer. And obviously, I'm not an AI engineer. I mean, I might be. Today, I'm not. So, and it's not coding. It's not coding. And that is, if you have used GPT, you would know. If you have used GPT for your applications, you would know. It does not answer with the same output every time. So you can ask it to do a certain thing, but it would change the response every time it responds back to you. Maybe, yeah, could be. Yeah, so the model I was working on is, for example, I search for after workout snacks. It goes for is fiber true, is protein true. So obviously it doesn't work. But that doesn't mean the search ends here, right? So I created a prompt to showcase here. So this is how there's a prompt work, and obviously I'm using GPT, Chat GPT, the very basic model every startup owner has to start with. I mean, but yeah. So this is what it is. I'll explain the prompt. Basically, I ask it to be a JSON rendering engine, let's say, and then I'll give it a text input, and it has to convert that text input into a JSON format. And doing so, it should be doing it through a certain amount of rules and assumptions, which I'll talk about also, assumptions. But here is the JSON structure it has to follow. There is a product type, brand, price range, dietary preferences, allergens, calories, fat content, and so on. So in the next slide, I'll explain how dietary preferences and allergens work, which is that dietary preferences is actually, I'll not explain the whole JSON, I mean, but these are two arrays. So these will contain elements from a universal set of arrays, which I'll also show. But there are fixed number of enums that will be pushed into fixed number of enums that are supposed to get into allergens, and a fixed number of dietary preferences that will pull from to get into dietary goals. Because obviously we don't want the system to be random when we are searching for a certain term or making a query into a database. I do not want that. So if there are any other term that the prompt thinks the user query falls into, or any other prompts that the user has put into the search box, that would be added to the special features, which we can find later. So this is the universal set that I created, which was vegan and all of this. Special focus on gluten-free, sugar-free, nut-free, soy-free. I'll show you something which is funny later. But yeah, these are the goals which it has to pick on. Also, there are a list of allergens it has to pick on. These are fixed number of list of allergens the product could be filtered on. But yeah, now this is the process. The dietary goal will take atomic elements present in the dietary goals array. Now a user's input has to be broken down till a point. It can be mapped to one element or any number of atomic elements in the dietary goals array or in the allergens array, or none of the above. It is not allowed to add any more elements or find any more elements that it thinks could fit into the system or JSON. Also, the user's input has to be reevaluated till the map could be found. And this is what I was speaking about, because I provided a data set of arrays. It, I think, kind of used it as a training mechanism, and I suddenly found it out on one of the queries where sugar-free is a dietary preference, but it was trying to push cruelty-free as a dietary preference. But possibly it's an ethical issue, right? It's not something that will search for as a diet, and it can go under special features. So these things had to be the model should know about. At the end, yeah, here, that was the hard part. This is the interesting part, what the results are. So we have, I searched for raw honey and natural sugar, and I did not search. So the keyword, the user query did not have organic in it, but it did pick up the organic and adds it to dietary goals. And obviously it searches the keyword, the user input that has been uh, sent by the user. Also for allergen friendly, this is also an interesting output where all the allergens it picks it up, although it has not been specifically mentioned using keywords that it has to pick up a certain allergens. Also, now when you search for a snack that aids in muscle memory, it picks up high protein and searches it against. And again, snack that supports happiness, it searches for protein, low sugar, and antioxidants. Apart from searching for snacks, these will also be filters applied to it. So you don't have to search for and apply filters from the 30 categories that I showed, right? Which were, yeah, I mean, and it specifically goes for low sugar because it has been asked to create dietary goals for people, which is healthy for human body. So hence, yeah, sure. Yes. Yes, this. Hmm. So it's present in the prompt, right? So I get to add all the items from the prompt, right? And the models is not allowed to think that this prompt is wrong, and it cannot add more values if it wants. Else it will keep adding more values. I told you, right? This is one of the examples I showed you in my. See, this is one of the examples. It started adding its own variables with its own data types because a model is very random on what it wants to generate, and it does not follow a lot of things. So I asked it to follow a certain amount of variables that I create for it. Sure.
Had that list actually. Yeah. And there was one more, na? You had used to.
Yes.
Yeah, this. So this, if you want to change your goals, you can change
Yes,
these values,
change
right?
it. I can change
Yeah.
it. So in this case,
Not changeable by the model. That's what you're
exactly.
saying.
In this case,
Okay.
I am the programmer
Mhm.
of the AI model. The AI model cannot create more items if it wants.
And the dietary goals is an output. I mean, that is something which the
Yes,
model
yes,
generates based
yes.
on
This
allergens list.
universal set of arrays. Yes.
Yeah, these two set of arrays, it takes as input and then generates dietary goals as an output.
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
it understands the user's prompt,
Mm.
and then it breaks it down to a point. It can either map it to the allergens or to the dietary goals. It makes sense?
Yes, yeah.
So dietary goals and allergens are the atomic elements.
Mhm.
I am defining it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And but can't it use both together? I mean,
Obviously, yes, it is using both together.
yeah. So you said either this or that. It's not like that. It is
No.
using
So,
both allergens and
yes, yes.
yeah.
For dietary goals, it has to pick from dietary goals list, and allergens, it has to pick from allergens list.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you ask for high protein, but I'm allergic to gluten, it
Mhm.
will pick for dietary goals high protein,
Right.
but allergens will get
Yeah.
gluten.
So then whatever prompt you are writing, for example, raw honey and natural sweetness, the context will be provided by the list of allergens and the dietary preferences that you had mentioned. They will always remain. Irrespective of whatever food item you are searching on,
Yes,
the
yes.
context will be provided by
Yes.
those two arrays that you
Yes.
spoke about.
Yes, yes. And I think, yeah, after this slide, hence the now we will not be. Hopefully this is a solution. I think this could be a solution. Now we possibly not be seeing products which is high in sugar, but are just good with their SEO of happiness and high energy. Yeah, no. It's ironic to get sugar for happiness because they'll provide chocolates for happiness. Is for returning. It was the case I showed you on the app. After I model, yes, exactly. But because it has to, in my model, it has to do what is good for a human body, unless it has been specifically asked for. I'm not saying sugar is bad. Our products are. Hence, whenever it will not show products that are high SEO of high energy, but are just high in sugar. Yeah, that is it from my side. I hope you liked my presentation. I hope you like me. If you are interested in my talk or Saurav Ganguly, please reach out to Saurav Ganguly on all the platforms. So I also showed you one last thing. I came across this diagram I showed you, but there is a talk by Ekansh. He came up here to speak about why you should not be using GPT or Chat GPT model directly from your application. So this is a good talk you should go out to, because you are exposing a lot of keys on your app, mobile app, for example, when you are bundling it. So he says your model better be behind the backend or with the backend, right? So that is what I was trying to build when I was trying to download small models, so that it can work alongside with the backend, and not use GPT as the first source after the app reaches, because it's not also good for the security. And anyway, you can go to this talk. It talks a lot about that. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Yes. Misspelling by
or
users.
typos by the users.
I think GPT LLM models. How do I explain? When you write a misspelling on your Google Docs, do you know how does it correct? It's a large language model, or it's a model that handles natural language processing, and natural language processing is a part of the LLM, the whole concept of LLM. So when it sees wrong spelling, it does not GPT does not ask you to correct that spelling. It just understands that you are trying to use something else based on the context that you have provided before or after. That's how it handles it. So I think spellings are not an issue here. Yes, please.
When you use the Chat GPT config model, right? I assume that this thing is being called from a app, let it be Android or your React app, and the model is already being deployed. What we are doing is basically customizing the query part of it. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
So the model still resides where it is supposed to be.
Model decide where it's supposed to reside. There are 2 points. As I said, I try to get a small scale model into a system which takes a lot of memory and resources but does not give right outputs. So I use GPT. That's why I used a GPT, to show you that the concept works, right? You can host a model if you want, right?
But if you take a small scale model, did you, I mean, is it being ported in your React.js application and we started querying?
A model works on its own. You send it query and you get the response.
But where does the model resides? Is it within the app or at the backend?
It's working parallelly in your computer, right? It's taking its own RAM or resources.
So you created a separate application, a backend application.
So you will get small scale models to download and run on your system, right?
So a backend service is running on your local host.
Mine, yes.
Correct, right?
So when I have a backend service, I have a small scale model, but the results are not too good to showcase here, right? Okay. So that's why I showed that the concept works when I'm using a GPT like a huge model. Right? It's not great when you're using a small scale model, and it will also take a lot of resources.
Correct.
You don't want to use a lot of resources when a product is also already giving you, doing the computation and giving you the response for every query.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah. I guess I'm available around till 6 or 7. I'm available here till 7. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Thank you so much. I had a great time explaining.
Thank you, Saurav. That was quite good, insightful stuff.
Thank you.
Can we have another round of applause for him? All right. With that, we have reached the end of the meetup. Thank you, everybody, for coming in on this Saturday and watching all the speakers and also discussing and networking. Thank you, everybody. Few shout outs we would like to give. Can we have a huge round of applause for Prem and Bhushan? They have been handling the whole event. And if they wouldn't have been here, this event would not have been possible. We have Brikshi over here. She made sure that everything goes on social and it's pretty active and everybody's updated about the event. And we have Suraj and Shiril in the back. You can wave. They made sure everything is arranged over here. Whatever you see over here, they made sure everything is arranged. And obviously the kitchen team people, Grishma Bhaiya and Pavan Bhaiya. Stuff for them as well. We can go for snacks. We have snacks ready for you guys, and obviously network among each other. Also, we have Sanket in the house today. He's right there in the back. So if you have any questions or something, you can take it up to him. All right. Thank you, everybody. Oh, can we all come over here? We'll take a quick group picture.